So let's talk about this thing. Everyone thinking that Harbor Freight is going to have tool trucks out with their Icon tool line. Now let's start off with why Snap-on did it. Snap-on transitioned from traditional brick and mortar stores to a mobile truck-based sale model to enhance customer convenience and service efficiency by bringing products directly to the mechanics and technicians and their workspace. Snap-on ensured immediate access to tools and personal services. Now, they also did so because the shift to mobile trucks also addressed the significant sales gap in small towns and rural communities. Many potential customers in these areas were reluctant to drive long distance, often 2 to 8 hours, to reach the nearest Snap on store. This model allowed Snap on to reach previously unserved markets, increasing their sales by meeting the customers. And also at that time when they started doing that, trucks were relatively cheap to buy. Insurances weren't really necessary, and the model just kind of stuck and worked. But the thing is, though, is with these trucks, franchisee has to buy the truck, pays for the truck, pays for the equipment, pays for the lease, the using the Snap-on name, like the franchise name. They have to buy the tools and load the truck. Reason why Harbor Freight will not do this is because they already have stores in almost every small community and town in the U.S. And even at that, in most cases, in worst case, the closest store is 2 hours away from you, so it's really easy for you to get to their stores. So they've already invested a lot of money into a brick and mortar thing. Now, and no sane person right now would invest into an Icon tool franchise. No one would do that. Look at Gear Wrench and a couple other manufacturers that tried doing trucks. Failed horribly. Gear Wrench wanted to go with the truck thing, and I think there's only 2 people that have Gear Wrench trucks. But other than that, they failed. A lot of independent tool guys fail because they're not a name that's synonymous with tools. And not only that, the cost. Well, they're like, well, why? Well, they'll just probably buy trucks and pay people an hourly wage. They'll never do that because they'd have to buy trucks. And right now, the average truck in the U.S. that would be required to run as a tool truck costed between $100,000 to $200,000. Then you have to equip it with either a generator or an inverter and battery supply. Then you have to equip it with shelving, tool storage, and none of that. They'd have to start carrying individual sockets, individual screwdrivers, individual wrenches, so that way they can replace individuals. And the cost of doing that would be exuberant. It would not be cost effective or efficient in any way, shape, or form to go and invest that kind of money into thousands of trucks and then pay people an hourly wage to drive them around. Insurance is not cheap for these things. And none of that, liabilities. So I'm sorry to tell you, but the Icon tool truck is never going to happen. Snap-on went with a tool truck because in the time it made sense to bring the tools to the people, and because, like I said, brick and mortar stores were few and far between, and only big cities and big towns had people that would invest into a brick and mortar store. Small town people would not invest it, so it made sense to go with a truck back then. Other companies copied the platform like Mac and Matco, but they established a name. And not only that, they made it so that way you don't have to go to a store. They have no need to have a brick and mortar store, and no one would ever go to a brick and mortar store to buy those tools because they don't need to. They like the convenience. But that's the thing, is Harbor Freight already has brick and mortar stores, so people would much rather go to that store. And none of that, a lot of professionals and technicians in the industry, we don't like buying tools like Icon because they're not a trusted name yet. They're not reputable. They don't check all the boxes for a professional tool line. That's the thing. They only check a couple boxes, not all of them. But not only that, we don't know if that tool line's even going to exist 3, 4, 5 years from now. We don't even know if Harbor Freight's even going to exist, because once Trump introduces his new tariffs on products made in China and in other countries, a lot of these stores like Harbor Freight are going to struggle with products, and they're going to be forced to buy products made in America, which is going to bring the price up. And when that happens, might as well just go buy Mac, Matco, and Snap-on, because the prices are going to be pretty much comparable to them. So an Icon tool truck, it will never ever happen. It will never happen. There's no possibility of it ever happening because it's not cost effective, it's not smart, and it would not be a good move for them. Plus, they don't have a large enough tool line. And like I said, they might not even be in business a couple years from now.